The phone buzzed against the nightstand, a sharp rattle that sliced through the silence of the hotel room. My heart lurched as I fumbled for it, the glow of the screen searing my eyes in the dark. A text from Lila, my wife of 7 years, lit up the display. A selfie, her face flushed, eyes glassy, a neon-lit casino bar pulsing behind her. She was laughing, her lips smeared with crimson lipstick, but it was the caption that punched the air from my lungs. Married my boss. Don't wait up. My thumb hovered over the image, trembling, as the world tilted. I stared at the words, each syllable a blade twisting in my chest. The photo showed her leaning into a man. Her boss, Richard, his arms slung possessively around her shoulders. His grin was smug, hers reckless, both bathed in the garish glow of Vegas lights. My pulse thundered in my ears, drowning out the hum of the air conditioner. Was this a joke? Lila's humor could be cruel, especially when she was drunk, but this felt different. Too raw, too deliberate. I typed a reply, fingers shaking. What the hell does this mean? I hit send, but the message hung in the void undelivered. The hotel room closed in, its beige walls and stiff linen suffocating. I'd stayed behind in Chicago for work while Lila jetted off to Vegas for a team-building retreat with her marketing firm. She'd been giddy about it for weeks. Too giddy, I'd thought, though I'd brushed it off as paranoia. Now the memory of her packing her suitcase, humming as she folded that red dress, gnawed at me. Had she known then? Had she planned this? I paced the room, the carpet rough under my bare feet, replaying the last few months. The late nights at the office, her phone always face down, the way she'd started mentioning Richard's name too often. Richard said this, Richard did that. I'd ignored the prickle of unease, chalking it up to her ambition, her drive to climb the corporate ladder. But the signs were there, weren't they? The way she'd laugh at his texts, her sudden need for space during our arguments. My stomach churned, a mix of nausea and rage. I wanted to call her, scream into the void, but what would I say? Did you really marry him? The absurdity of it burned. Instead, I opened the photo again, zooming in. Her wedding ring, our ring, was missing from her finger. My throat tightened, and I sank onto the bed, the springs creaking under my weight. I remembered the day I proposed, her eyes wide with joy, her promises whispered against my lips. Had those meant nothing? I typed another message. Lila, call me. Now. Still no response. The silence was louder than any answer. Hours crawled by, each minute a fresh wound. I imagined her in some tacky Vegas chapel, giggling as she said vows to another man. Or maybe it was a prank, a drunken stunt to get a rise out of me. But the photo's details haunted me. The way Richard's hand rested on her waist, the intimacy in her smile. I poured a glass of bourbon from the minibar, the amber liquid catching the dim light. It tasted like ash. By 3 a.m., my phone pinged again. Another text from Lila. Relax, it was a joke. Got carried away. Talk tomorrow. Relief surged, then curdled into suspicion. A joke? Why hadn't she called? Why was her ring off? I dialed her number, but it went straight to voicemail, her cheery greeting mocking me. I left a message, my voice tight. Lila, I need to hear your voice. Tell me what's going on. I hung up, feeling like a fool. Sleep never came. Dawn bled through the curtains, painting the room in sickly gray. I checked my phone obsessively, but there was nothing new. I opened my laptop, driven by a desperate need to know. Her company's retreat had a hashtag Vegas vibe. And I scrolled through X, my heart pounding. There they were, photos of Lila and Richard at a rooftop bar, clinking glasses, her head tilted toward him. Another post, time-stamped hours after her text, showed them dancing, her arms around his neck. The caption read, "Work hard, play harder." My vision blurred, the screen swimming. I called her again, then Richard's office line, then her best friend Mara, who was also on the trip. No one answered. My mind spun wild scenarios. Lila passed out in a hotel room, Lila laughing at my panic, Lila in Richard's bed. Each thought was a fresh cut, bleeding doubt and betrayal. I wanted to believe her text, to cling to the idea of a prank, but the evidence was piling up, each fragment sharper than the last. By noon, I couldn't stand it anymore. I booked a flight to Vegas, my hands shaking as I entered my credit card details. The airport was a blur of fluorescent lights and stale coffee. On the plane, I sat by the window, staring at the clouds, my thoughts a storm of their own. What would I say when I saw her? Could I forgive her if it was true? Did I even want to? When I landed, Vegas assaulted me. Flashing signs, the clatter of slot machines, the stink of cigarettes and desperation. I took a cab to her hotel, the Bellagio, its fountains mocking me with their choreographed grace. At the front desk, I lied, saying I was joining my wife's conference. The clerk gave me her room number, and I rode the elevator up, my heart hammering. The hallway was endless, the carpet a dizzying pattern of gold and red. I knocked on her door, my knuckles white. No answer. I knocked harder, my voice breaking as I called her name. Finally, the door cracked open, and there she was, Lila, her hair messy, her eyes bloodshot. She froze, her mouth parting in shock. "Mark, what are you doing here? Tell me it's not true," I said, my voice raw. "Tell me you didn't marry him." Her face crumpled, and she stepped back, letting the door swing open. Richard was there, sprawled on the bed, shirt unbuttoned, a bottle of champagne on the nightstand. My world shattered, the pieces cutting deeper than I'd imagined possible. "It was a game," Lila whispered, tears spilling. "A stupid, drunken game. We didn't mean a game." I roared, my voice echoing in the room. "You sent me a picture, Lila. You said you married him." Richard stood, his hands raised like I was the unreasonable one. "Mark, calm down. It was a joke that got out of hand. We got fake rings, took some photos. Nothing happened." I looked at Lila, searching her eyes for the truth. But her gaze flickered, and I saw it, the guilt, the lie. "Nothing happened?" I said, my voice low, dangerous. "Then why are you in his room?" She sobbed, reaching for me, but I stepped back. The air was thick with betrayal, the scent of her perfume now sickening. I turned to leave, my heart a hollow drum, when Richard spoke again, his voice smug. "You're overreacting, man. She's still yours." I spun back, my fist connecting with his jaw before I could think. He stumbled and Lila screamed, but I was already walking away, the hallway blurring through my tears. In the elevator, my phone buzzed again, a photo from an unknown number. It was Lila and Richard kissing in a chapel, a cheap veil on her head. The timestamp was from last night. I deleted it, my hands steady now. The doors opened, and I stepped into the chaos of Vegas, knowing I'd never trust her again.